Hi, Lori Whitlock here. In this video, we're going to put together this really cute little vintage bucket. Super fun. You can get the cutting files in my SVG shop at shop.loriwhitlock.com, or you can get the silhouette cutting files at Silhouette Design Store. So let's just take a look at all the pieces. You've got this cool piece that creates all the bands on the sides, really simply. This is the handle piece. We're going to roll that up to make this cute little handle at the top. We've got a couple reinforcement pieces for the bottom here. We've got these two pieces here on the side, which are the bands for the top and bottom. And then this is our main bucket piece. So let's get started with that one. And then we'll be putting on our little vertical strips here, bands that come up. So first thing you'll want to do is take these bottom little glue tabs and just fold those all in one direction towards the inside of the piece. So if you've cut this on pattern paper, make sure that those go in. You have this little angled area here over here without any score marks, so you don't want to fold there, but that will be your little glue area where it starts to angle. Okay, so then what we need to do is take this whole piece. So I'm going to kind of pull those tabs back out and just kind of train it to bend around in a circle. So I'm going to use the edge of my table just to get a little bit of curve to my paper. You don't need a whole lot, but it just kind of helps to get that paper ready to curve into a full circle. So now we're just going to take that glue tab there and just glue it all around in one circle. You can just kind of see right where those glue tabs at the bottom should come together and right where that angle ends at the top here. You'll want to make sure you get that about as exact as possible so that when you go to put all your bands on, everything fits properly. You want that to dry really well. And now we're ready to just fold those glue tabs in. And I'm going to glue one of these circles down inside. That's going to be our easiest way of getting our circle perfect. So just put a little adhesive right around the edge of that circle so it'll overlap all those glue tabs inside, and then we'll just set that down inside. Isn't that nice? It just forms that perfect circle for us, quick and easy. Just let that dry. And then what we're going to do with this piece is it's going to go on the bottom, and those are going to fold up, and then we'll use this as a reinforcement piece on the outside of the bottom here. Or you could use it on the inside again. Either way, it doesn't matter. But if you wanted to cut it out of a different color or something, you could do that. So we're just going to fold all these little bands in one direction to come up the sides of the bucket. And if you'd like to use some distressing ink, now would be a good time to distress everything and make it look vintage. And that's kind of what we did here on this other one. I'll show you. You can see there's some distressing inks. Just to save some time on video, I'm actually not going to do that. We also did that with the handle. It looks really cute. But for now, I'm just going to show you how this goes together. So that bucket's going to sit right in that circle, and those are all going to glue up on all the sides, which is going to make it look like wooden slats. It'll look really nice. But let's go ahead and put some glue here. I'm going to put a little bit of glue under those tabs here. Make sure they stay down. And then we're just going to go around, get a good coat of glue. You can see how that fits right in the middle there. And now we just need to put some glue on these strips that come up and glue those into place. And as you're doing that, you might want to use the table to help you push and get some pressure on those. And just go around and do that with all of these little fingers, little strips. Just make sure that they go nice and vertical. Make sure none of them overlap those holes there. You'll need those to put the handle through here in a little bit. if you planned it right, you could have one overlap this line here, but I think it looks nice. I like how it makes it look really vintage to have all these little strips here. Okay, now that we have all those strips glued up, we're ready to start putting on the outer bands here. So with the outer bands, the main thing is you want these holes to line up good enough to put your handle through. So you're just going to wrap that around, and they're not going to probably line up completely, but they'll line up close enough that you can get your handle through. So there's just a little wiggle room when you go to glue everything together. I'm going to avoid that end with the little tiny holes for now with glue, and we'll just glue that after we've got it put in place. Okay, so like I said, you're going to have to kind of, they will definitely show, but they're not going to line up 100%. So you can see how there's just a little bit of gap there. Okay, and then at the end, our holes should come close to lining up. Looks like they do, just about. I'm going to overlap them a little bit. Like I said, it just depends on how everything glues together. But what you can do if they don't line up perfectly is just go ahead and push your brad through using the outer hole as your guide. Just depending on how tight you glue everything, it depends on where these little holes will end up. So I can see where that little brad hole is, so I'm just going to go ahead and, you can use a paper piercer if you need to. I don't happen to have one real handy, so I'm just going to use these scissors and create a little hole that goes through. Sometimes you can get the brad to just go right through. Okay, that one's going to go through, and then we'll just open that up and on the inside here. Look how cute that is. Okay, and then we're just going to do the same thing around the bottom. You can get creative with different pattern papers. On this one, we don't have a hole for the handle, so just be aware of that and make sure you use the right band at the top and the bottom. But we do want this little hole to match up, so I'm just going to kind of start my band there, work my way back around. And let's see how we did. We did really good. Our holes are matching up really nicely. So I'm going to put a little extra glue on those ends. Okay. Again, you'll need to punch a hole through the actual bucket. I didn't put a hole in that for a guide, but you can just push one right through, open that up on the inside. Sorry, it's hard to see this part. Okay, there's our two little brads, aren't they cute? And now we're ready to do the handle. We do have this extra piece. It'll just kind of help make the bottom sturdier if you feel like you need it. If you wanted to add a color, it could be cute. I'm just going to leave that off for now, and we're going to move on to the handle. So for the handle, what I like to do is just put it through the hole, and you got to kind of make a little hook for it there. So you can just put one end through the hole like that. And then we're going to come up and make another little handle over here, a little loop over here. In fact, I think I'm going to make my handle a little longer, so I'm going to use this other piece. I've got a black piece here. So let's see, this piece I feel like is a little too short. This one I cut at 100%. This one I cut at about 70%. So this one took, the 70% one took a piece of this wire that's about, I'd say 8 inches long. So we're going to need a piece a little bit longer than that for this one. I'm going to cut it about here. About 12 inches long. So what I'm gonna do actually, I think I'll make the crook for the handles first. I'll make them about like that. And actually move them over a little bit. So you want to kind of center it here, something like that, and then make the little hooks for the handle down there. I had a little bit of trouble centering this one. That's why I'm kind of doing it a little bit differently this time. You do need to make your little handle too. So I'm going to use the edge of the table here to kind of train that paper, and then we're just going to wrap it onto itself to make the handle. Nice, thick, sturdy handle, but it does take a little bit of work to get it wrapped so tight. Okay, so just kind of wrap it, and then you can wrap it again. You try and tighten things up. You might even use like a bone folder to help you curl it, or wrap it around a pencil, or even this wire. Getting that first bit tight is the hardest part, but it won't be seen, so it's okay if it crinkles a little. By the time you get to the outer layers, it'll be nice and smooth. If you feel like it's too long and you're struggling with it too much, you could always cut it a little bit shorter too. Okay, so I'm just gonna do that one more time, and I'm going to glue it this time. Just making sure that there's a nice hole through the middle so I can get my wire through it. You want this to be glued really well, so just get a nice coat of glue in there, and then just hold that really well till it's nice and dry. Okay, once your handle's nice and dry, you're just going to need to get it into the center section of your little wire handle. And this is actually just some floral wire that my husband spray painted for me, but you could use any kind of wire. You could even use a coat hanger if you wanted to bend that. It's going to be pretty sturdy. Okay, so now at the end we just need a little hook on each end, something just to hold that in place. And you'll just feed those through. Looks like my floral tape wants to come unwrapped. It'd be better actually if you had some wire that didn't have the wrapping on it, but this is what I had, so this is what we used. Okay, pull this other one up into place. And you could trim off the excess on that handle there. Look how cute. We have our darling little bucket with our cute little handle. And it looks really vintage and fun, and you could fill it up with treats. You could make it smaller for little party favors. You can fill it with little apples, or fill it with some fall decorations, pumpkins, things like that. Anyways, I hope you enjoy making this cute little bucket. And I'll see you in another video. Have a great day. Bye-bye.